and welcome to another episode of Innovation Unleashed. We have a special edition today, which is our partner spotlight. So I'm here today with Carla from Within.
Hi, I'm Carla Donahue. I'm a senior director at Within, which is a performance branding marketing agency that has a specialization in Lifecycle. So I always explain to my mom it's all things that she can sign up for. So email, SMS, loyalty, a little bit of direct mail, we do it all.
Love it. So today we're going to talk a little bit about Lifecycle since we have an expert in the room. And we both focus on overlapping clients that focus in like the retail space is probably what we'll talk a lot about today. But a lot of effort goes into holiday.
It really does. But it's that after holiday that a lot of people kind of forget about.
Yeah. So we'll focus on that today. We'll talk a little bit about you put all this work into holiday and what should you be thinking about now that we're here in like March timeframe. You're coming off of that, and how do you re-engage those people who might have purchased during that time frame?
Exactly.
Yep.
And it's really important to nurture that second or third purchase in the new year. So often what we'll do is encourage our clients to separate consumers into repeat purchasers or people who are brand new in the holiday, and let's communicate to them differently.
Yeah.
Those consumers that know and love your brand, let's go ahead and start doing upsells, cross-sells, really start to lean into how do we expand into that third or fourth purchase, drive that repeat, that LTV. And then for those new customers, we actually want to take a little bit different approach and welcome them in to the brand, to get to know, really start to kind of share their personality, show the value of the product.
Totally.
And really have that one-to-one connection with them from the start.
Yeah. I would say we just did our benchmarking report when we look at 2025. So like coming into 26, it's always a good primer for what do you need to be focused on. And this post-purchase life cycle is probably one of my number one insights from that report, which is we're seeing brands sending more post-purchase emails. Because typically when you would look at that life cycle, it's like we send them a generic thank you the day that they purchase. And then we might send them a win back at 90 days to say, we haven't seen you buy again, come back. But to what you're talking about the importance of the in-between and the personalization probably based on what you even bought
100%.
To inform what you should be talking to them about.
Yeah.
So what would you say like a good example of that is for people who are listening?
So I think there's a couple things you can do that we found have been really successful. So with one of our beauty clients, we realized that a lot of first-time purchasers were buying trial kits. They wanted to understand the product. They wanted to get familiar with it. And so what we did is an A/B test to understand, do those consumers want to try a full size now, or are they more interested in maybe rebuying the minis?
Yeah.
And we found from the tests that they were ready to buy full size.
Yeah.
So we really treated it as that. We acknowledged that you tried a few products. We wanted to give them the value prop of buying a full size.
Yep.
And especially in beauty, that then creates this really beautiful replenishment.
Oh, yeah.
But to your point about having a great first touch post-purchase, our number one thing that we tell our clients to do in the very first post-purchase is wait till the product arrives. So time it.
Classic.
Time it to when the product arrives. And you can certainly ask for a review, but we always suggest adding value to the consumer right away. We work with a clothing brand, and we always suggest remind them how easy returns are. Create this really wonderful relationship. Let them know that this is how they can get the most out of their product. If it's a fabric that they need to, they can throw in the dryer. Remind them that they can throw in the dryer. If it's a product that you need to apply morning and night, say if it's in beauty, do a little bit of a reminder, but make it personal based on the category and the product that they purchased. Totally. And then you can go back a couple weeks later, start to do some recommendations based on either category expansion or complete the collection, but really make it about their lifestyle and how you can add value.
Yeah, like the user experience is the most important at the bottom line of it. So to that point, like we see that a lot across clients where they're starting to focus on even individual SKUs that have specific information that would help you use it better. So if that is like a blender and it's telling you recipes on what you could use that for, or to that point, like a beauty routine where this might be one part of your routine, but there are other gaps that help in maybe the AMs or the PMs sort of use case. I will say, like, to that point, the education is becoming more and more important. And I do think people are scared to talk to people too soon after they purchase, and it's almost the most critical time.
It's so important to remind people that this product that they love came from you.
Yeah.
And it's not just a product that fell into their lap. And I love that you had mentioned just that needing to give that education. I think one of the things I love about Listrak is just the flexibility with Shopify to do the product integration and make it so easy to personalize in an individual email how people can complete the collection or add additional points from the website because you have that easy integration into the platform.
Yeah, definitely. And I would say for that kind of upsell cross-sell scenario, testing's a great thing. Like I almost feel like people think they know their consumer so well that testing feels like, well, why would we test? We understand what that person might want, but you learn so much from it. So I find it so integral in understanding that behavior. So to your point, they are willing to upsell. I've seen use cases where you're trying to get them into other parts of the routine, and we actually see them just buying the same thing they already bought from those emails. So it's like a great learning mechanism of, well, maybe we should build out our replenishment campaign more. Maybe we should actually be trying to inform them of what are the other benefits to ensure they use the product that they just bought. And that helps them repeat buy.
Well, and I think that's the importance of having multiple types of post-purchase emails.
Yes.
So I think there's not a one-size-fits-all.
Yeah.
So you do really need to understand, do you have a person who just loves a product, is brand loyal, and they're only going to buy that product? Make it easy and simple for them to continue to repurchase.
Yeah.
But then you're going to have those curious explorers who want to learn more. They want to fall in love with more parts of your business.
Yeah.
And those people need to be honored and kind of, respect that. And I think one thing that you said that I love is that people often are afraid to test. And so anytime we hear kind of a hard and fast rule or a known statement about a consumer, we always challenge and say, let's put some data behind it, right? Happy to prove you correct, but let's have data to back it up.
Yeah, I love that. So we talked a little bit about holiday. So we're talking kind of best practices from a post-purchase perspective. If we put the lens on someone who bought during holiday specifically and how brands should be thinking about that right now and those consumers, what would you say some quick tips or ideas for that would be?
Yeah. So I would recommend creating a holiday segment. And so identifying consumers who might be more apt to purchase during big promotional time periods.
Definitely.
And you want to make sure that they're receiving access to, your 4th of July sale, your Memorial Day sale. Those patriotic holidays are a great way to test into your, approach for Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
So I think the big thing is acknowledging that they might be discount driven and being okay with that. But also understanding what sort of product is more relevant for them in this season and make that recommendation. Because for most of our clients, and even myself, I'm a very different person in the winter than I am in the summer.
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure that the consumer knows that your product is available year round and fits all of their lifestyle needs.
Yeah, and for most brands, they do have different products that fit those seasons. So it's highlighting the things that you might not have been thinking about then that make sense now. I loved that perspective. I feel like just in general, when we think about that journey of that end consumer, I do find a lot of people grow their list during holiday because so many people subscribe to get that discount, and then that's a one-time purchaser. So we always look at kind of deciles and look at your customers, and your top 10% typically make up 30 to 40% sometimes of revenue. So it's so critical to move people from these stages of a base consumer to a promising one that is repeating and engaging with your brand. And I think that's a key part of it, of understanding their discount affinity. Yeah. We have an affinity model that says you always use discounts in your purchases. Majority of the time you do or you don't, which I always recommend to brands who are super discount sensitive. Yes. That's a common retail we don't want to train them into that, but a second purchase honestly indicates that they're going to be a part of your brand for a really long time. So getting that second purchase is the most critical.
100%.
So what do you do in between purchases? You made that first purchase and we're trying to get that second purchase.
Yeah. So one of the things that we really do is we think about what's the next best action. We want someone to purchase 100%. But if someone's not ready, what can we do to drive engagement? Right. We want to get that click-through rate. We want to get them on the site. So sometimes that's signing up for loyalty. Sometimes that's taking a quiz. Sometimes that's filling out a profile. What are ways that we can gain additional 1P data that's going to help us better serve the customer in the long run fill out a profile, let us know your preferences.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to start building a relationship. The key is that you then have to action on those things.
Yeah.
If you take that information, you have to make sure that you then respond accordingly.
Definitely. I would say the most interesting thing I see, like one of our common best practices in Welcome Series, is if you've already subscribed, we'll send you down a thread to be like, hey, you're already on our list. But we will strategically actually split that to say if you're already subscribed but you have not purchased, we'll give you that discount again. But if you've already purchased, we won't re-give it to you, like from a thought perspective. But from when you look at the heat map of those messages, the messages that people already are subscribed, they already bought, they're just looking for a discount. Like if you think about the indicators in which people are trying to tell you they want a discount, that is a great one. I always see in those messages heat mapping at the bottom where your SMS program sign up is the number one thing clicked because it's another lever for discount. So to your point, if you have other levers, like, hey, sign up to our loyalty program. It'll give you X, Y, and Z points. Sign up for this. Tell us this. It'll help us get you a birthday discount. Those are the levers that I think if someone's actively telling you, hey, I want a discount, you're losing the sale if you don't try to respond to that.
One of the things we started doing that's been really successful is you get a welcome discount. It's often in your welcome email, but that's usually the only time you see it.
Yeah.
And so one of the things we've been able to do with Listrak is start bringing in that welcome discount to all of the marketing sends.
Oh, yeah.
So regardless if it's your second or third marketing promotion email, it's still going to include your welcome offer as a reminder and as a motivator. That offer's already factored into your margin. It's already taken, and it's a great motivator and reminder if they might have missed it in the welcome email.
Yeah, and I would say that for any triggers, right? Like if you abandon your cart and you haven't used your welcome coupon, being able to stitch that experience all together, which is why like being all of it under one house is super helpful because you can make a super unique experience for that person. I love this. So I would say for brands who are coming off of holiday, we would say, hey, let's make a segment of your purchasers. Let's look at those people. If this was their first time purchase, let's be really thoughtful about the product you might be recommending to them, maybe thinking about their discount affinity and offering a discount to come back in that first 3 months and get them into your full Lifecycle program. And I feel like that might be a good starting point for brands right now. What else would you say? Anything else?
I think the other thing that we have found is often in email and SMS, it's a different first product purchased than maybe if you came in through media or paid media.
Interesting.
So what we often will do is have a bestsellers collection that is specific for bestsellers of first-time email purchasers.
Yes.
So we know that if you're coming in through Meta or YouTube, you might be going directly to a product page purchasing, but we know for email subscribers, they traditionally buy these first 3 products first. Let's show them.
Yeah.
We're going to take a page out of the analytics book and trust the data.
Love that.
And go ahead and use that to our advantage to really make sure we're kind of putting our best foot forward based on the channel we're talking to them.
I love that. And now that makes me want to know all the differences across brands, across the channels. I'm in my little email SMS bubble over here. Anything else you think that we would want to chat about today, or?
I think just be comfortable being uncomfortable. I know that's really hard advice to give, but be willing to test hard and fast rules that you've held on to, and really think about ways to service the client. Customers are expecting a lot because they're giving us a lot, and you need to be really responsive and respectful of the data they're giving you.
Yeah. Well, this has been super helpful, and I think our clients that we work on together are super lucky to work with you guys. I think any vendor that is going to be a partner and really be caring about our brand's programs is the most important thing. So
amazing.
I appreciate the time today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to Innovation Unleashed, our partner edition, and I hope you tune in soon.